I was doing my like wiki diving, trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, and differing.
There are different schools of thought.
There are different schools of thought. I saw some video come up in my recommended that was like Resident Evil Village ending explained. I was like, there's no fucking explaining this ending. The amount of like threads that they drop out of fucking nowhere and say like they're some sort of pre-existing thing. Hello and welcome to a very special episode of the METAcast. I am Michael, your player one, and joining me today is player two, Connor.
Hello.
AKA 50% of Tunes TV. And player three is Ethan, AKA Ethan46. Hey guys, thanks for joining me.
No worries, dude. Thanks for having us on.
Are you ready to spoil the hell out of Resident Evil Village?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
My brain is going to explode. I need somebody to talk to and...
I feel like I don't think we've talked at length about the game at all, or like how we feel about it after playing it. I only just finished it last night personally.
Yeah, well, it's been like 2 or 3 days for me, just like in the back of my head.
Yeah, 2 or 3 days sounds good.
It's like chatting to people. Chatting to people while streaming it is all well and good, but it's no replacement for a real fucking nerdy conversation.
For that immediate back and forth.
That's right. Well, I guess we can start with what we all thought of the game. I think it's pretty positive all across the board, safe to say.
Yep.
I have some caveats.
Yeah, go. What are your caveats?
I think like it's a game that I had immense fun with, like in the most immediate sense. Like as I was playing it, I was really fucking enjoying it. But the story in particular, I've found myself that I feel like it does not really hold up to much scrutiny. Like the more I think on it, the stupider it sounds in my head.
Yep.
And the less I don't know, the less I like it. But I think I'm still keen to go back. I feel like mechanically the game plays wonderfully. Like it's really, really satisfying, and I'm excited to play through it again. Yeah. Which I think, I don't know, I feel like that's how I felt about most Resident Evil games. Like the story in Resident Evil 5 is kind of ridiculous.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. I'm kind of torn as to what I go, it's Resident Evil. It's always been goofy. And what I go, no, I'm sorry. He's a mold man. He's a mold man.
Of course he was.
What do you mean? Of course he was.
He was infected in 7.
He was infected in 7. He wasn't a fucking mold man.
No, but they all turn out to be mold men in 7 when you kill them. In the end,
it seemed like classic, like they were dead the whole time. Like it was this goofy fucking M. Night Shyamalan twist that I was like, are we serious? Like,
that's all right.
I didn't find the reveal of like what the fuck was happening as satisfying as I'd hoped it was, and it was quite silly.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that scene of the reveal with Evelyn in like the sort of dream sequence. Like it's sort of this is like 7 on a bigger scale, almost beat for beat, structure wise and gameplay wise, and that scene sort of fit the same structure as the sort of dreamlike sequence where you're sitting down in the living room with the Bakers because you're all sort of what do you call it?
Like a shared
psychically connected
kind of thing.
Yeah, and you get that really lovely scene where Jack becomes this really sympathetic character, just like asking you to help his family and free them and stuff. That's like a really nice moment in 7, one of my favorite moments. And then the Evelyn stuff was just like, she doesn't need to come back.
Yeah,
she really didn't.
But I liked, I think story-wise, contained into the game by itself, I really enjoy, and I love the stupidness. I'm happy for them to go as crazy and stupid as they want.
Yeah.
Similar experience to me playing 7, where I'm going along and I'm playing it. I was like, this is good. This feels like Resident Evil. This has got a classic sort of Resident Evil 1 and 2 layout of everything. But in 7, it was just always in the back of my mind of like, yes, but how is this a Resident Evil game? Like,
how is it connected to
it's so
the
disconnected
universe?
That I was just thinking the whole time, like, yeah, this is fine, but what does this mean for the series and what does this mean for the canon?
Yeah.
And I was a little bit less worried about that while playing this. because I was enjoying the real stupidness, the goofiness, the heavy homages to Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Or even taking elements that were in the leaked prototype videos of a previous like Resident Evil 4 project that got scrapped before they started over, and using that in way of the like the little demonic puppets and stuff.
Cool.
So it's like, even like ideas that they didn't end up using that everyone's been like, oh man, that Resident Evil 3.5 video, I wish I got that Resident Evil 4. It's like, well, now you sort of have.
Yeah,
that was really good. But then in the end, I'm happy the way that Ethan's story ended, and he's not going to be the main protagonist going forward, and all of that stuff made me feel a lot more excited about where they're going to take the sequels.
Okay.
And that made me feel more positively on it, like thinking back over the last couple of days.
Yeah, okay. I really like I feel similarly to you in that I like the goofiness as a self-contained thing. I feel like it's linking it to the greater Resident Evil universe is where I kind of went, oh, this is so stupid. Like, because they went so goofy with it, and it seemed like they were having so much fun, and then remembered, fuck, we've got a franchise to tie this into. And like, you know, all of the threads, like it feels like they've been tied together with like such like disregard for whether or not it like reads as stupid as shit on paper.
Yeah, they've sort of set a precedent now. Like Resident Evil has gone through lots of different sort of zombie types, and in 4 that was really out there at the time. There's still people at the time, like now, that are like, oh, 4 ruined the franchise because they're fucking insane. But that's like the Parasite was like a take on like the voodoo zombies, and then 7 did the like supernatural ghost kind of zombie as explained by a virus, and this one basically is just like, magic's real. Oh yeah, it's kind of tied to a bio weapon, but magic's real. It just is real, exactly. And you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Reading on, like, so going through all the documents and all the like the lore that they've put into this game, it's so like it was just sitting there being like, at first I was like, okay, so I get to this castle where there's this big, tall, beautiful lady and her 3 daughters, and they like to drink. They drink blood. I'm like, oh, so like they're infected, but they need to consume blood to keep going. And then as I'm reading on and on and on, it's like, no, they were vampires before they got infected. That's just the thing. Vampires are real, guys. It's like, excuse me a second.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, that stuff.
But like, and I guess like it comes down to like, I really enjoyed this game, and I really enjoyed 7, but it was coming into the tying in bit where I feel like 7 was so out of the way for what Resident Evil's story had been doing, and then just as you said, they kind of like clicked and realized, being like, oh fuck, we got to tie this in. Here's Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
And then when
wait, that's not Chris Redfield. Who's that?
And then as they're playing 8, you're just like, yeah, we got Chris Redfield, the guy from 7. It's all really good. And then they've realized and gone, oh, that doesn't tie it in together. You know, just fuck it. Throw a name on a piece of paper. I'm sure people will work it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I was a little. It felt a little bit cheap, like having so much of the exposition given, like in basically one room.
With a couple of files.
Yeah, all via like some files and photos, and Chris just saying to himself, I guess that makes sense. Guess that fixes that. You know?
Yeah, well, it's the same as it's the same sort of thing that they did in 7 with that exposition dump, but in this one, it's tying it into like, oh, this is where Umbrella found their logo from, and Oswald E. Spencer learnt all of this shit from Mother Miranda to go off and make his own company and viruses, and so making that like a bigger overarching thing and being like, here's 3 files to read about it in, is a bit like of a wilder stretch. But I was really happy that Chris was the one reading it and not Ethan, like in 7, where Ethan's just like, oh, I don't know shit. But when Chris reads the name Oswald E. Spencer on a piece of paper, you know he's like, he gets fired up. He's like, God, Spencer.
Oh,
damn it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does say that.
We have to stop Umbrella for good.
I will say though, the guy playing Chris, is it the same dude who played Chris in Resident Evil 5?
No, it's not. It's a different guy. It's
I was going to say, because he's gone from punching boulders to eliciting an emotional response, and that's That's pretty cool. Because that bit where he's in the helicopter and he's like, and Mia's like, where's my wife? And he's like, fuck.
Yeah, he punches the wall.
Was cool. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, no, it was
Although
really
I was
good.
like, careful, you'll take the fucking helicopter down.
Well,
yeah, that's true.
I was surprised. Like, not even a dent in the helicopter at all. That man fucking is the strongest being in the world, and he's just like.
I will defend for Chris to the grave in Resident Evil 5. He elicits lots of emotions while also punching boulders.
He does it all. Okay.
Fun fact: the actor that does the voice acting and mocap for Chris in this Village is actually the same actor who played Carlos in the RE3 remake.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
well, he does a fantastic job.
Does a great job.
They're just reusing cast, hey?
Yeah. It's like it seems like. They got with these like since remake 2 and 7 and remake 2, they confirmed that Matt Mercer was playing Leon at the time after 6 and in some of the CG movies, and then he was confirmed not to be in the 2 remake. Seems like the main reason was because they didn't want to work with voice actors that were part of the union, so they're going with like non-union voice actors. Which is kind of like dodgy, and so it sounds a little bit similar when they're like, "Oh, let's just reuse Carlos as Chris." It's like, well, what if we ever want to bring Carlos back, and Chris and Carlos need to be in a scene together? It's probably not going to happen, but it would be the coolest shit ever, and now you can't do it.
You just have Carlos and that like they're just jumping for some reason, like their bodies are jumping. You just can't work out why, but it's just like the guy has to jump between like takes for the mocap suit.
Yep. What were you going to say, Connor, about Chris?
Something. Speaking of the boulder thing, they literally have like the throwaway line from Heisenberg. Why does Heisenberg know about the boulder punching? He's like, "Oh, that boulder punching asshole." And I was like, "Get fucked."
Like, I would have to like the only thing I could think of was Chris working for BSAA during 5?
Yes, he is. During 5, yeah, he definitely was.
And the way that this story is playing out is that Chris has now joined the other side, but BSAA seems to have some involvement here. Like, they showed up right at the end, but you're not really sure. It's just like, is there someone like an informant who's like reporting back to Mother Miranda or something?
Yeah, it's
and just let us slippy punch the boulder. Just
lot of questions there. So, I was doing my like wiki diving, trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, and differing.
There are different schools of thought.
I saw some video come up in my recommended that was like Resident Evil Village ending explained. I was like, there's no fucking explaining this ending. The amount of like threads that they drop out of fucking nowhere and say like they're some sort of pre-existing thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love them. I fucking love the shit that they're teasing. And I'm like, where is this going? Holy shit. But none of that has any backstory in anything else before this, not even in 7. So in 7, he was working with Blue Umbrella. He was brought in as a consultant. So he was still actively a member of the BSAA. And in the Not a Hero DLC, he's like really skeptical of Umbrella. And he's like got problems working with him because he doesn't trust him. He's not with Blue Umbrella in this one. He's part of the named Hound Wolf squad, and the schools of thought are like half of the shit I've read is like his squad has like gone AWOL, and so he is a rogue squad, not tied to the BSAA, and another thing I read said that he is technically under the BSAA, but Hound Wolf Squad run without any oversight from anyone else. So they're like separate. So they don't report to anyone specifically. But yeah, when they fucking show up and they're like, "Oh, Captain, BSAA's here," and he's like, "What the fuck are they doing here?" I was like, "What do you mean? What the fuck are they doing here? You work for them. You like founded BSAA." And then he's like, "They've gone too far," and I was like, "How have they gone too far? Tell me, Chris. This is all so fascinating."
Because like Chris was leaving out a lot of details, but I get, he shouldn't like. You're not going to be really like immersed if he's just like, "Oh, it's BSAA, that one company I used to work for."
Yeah, you can't.
When back in 2 years ago, they did this.
Yeah, you can't kind of chuck that much, what do you call it? Exposition in there. But at the same time, you cannot have him have this completely fresh team of people that are all like, oh, just like old times, Cap. When was the last time that we've done like field work together that isn't just
out in the desert? What?
The desert. You're like, what? Huh? How do you know these people? I didn't. Again, like throughout the game, I was really cautious about the whole Chris shit because I didn't like the way they were portraying him as the villain. I was like, they've brought back the correct looking Chris, and now they're like, he's acting wrong, which is a big pet peeve for me. I hated the one of my main problem with Resident Evil 6 is just Chris's arc of him being like a dickhead asshole that's always angry and wanting revenge instead of being like the cool leader dude that he is in 5. So whenever I'm like, no, don't try and give them some sort of arc or some sort of real like conflict. I want my Resident Evil characters to be gigantic superhero, like that's what their personality comes down to is like, oh yeah, no, they're totally committed to like wiping out bioterrorism. That's it. And then, they have different costumes and they have different specialties and shit. That's what I want.
What was the CG movie that was like angry Chris and alcoholic Leon? Which one was that one?
Vendetta.
Yeah, that was where I saw like Chris and I'm like, that's not Chris anymore. That's a completely different person. Who the fuck is this?
I actually didn't mind Chris in that. I thought he was a big improvement on 6. I didn't like Leon being like skulking and drinking. I was like, when is he ever like that? No, that's not cool.
Not my Leon.
Not my
Leon. I like the Resident Evil 5 has a little bit of that conflict where at the beginning of the game, Chris in the intro cutscene goes, more and more I find myself wondering if it's all worth fighting for. And then at the end of the game, in the final cutscene, he says that, and then he follows it up with, for a future without fear, absolutely. And it's like, yep, cool, that's it. Like, I want them to be like grizzled, like they're like, oh, this is like, this is really wearing me down, but not to the point where it's like they're actually being shits about it, which I thought was like this when he's in the car and he lights the cigarette up and he's just like, fucking 3 years wasted. When does it ever end? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. That's all I need.
Yep.
But then he gets to work and he doesn't like bitch and whine. He is a badass.
He is a badass. He and his group, they're going to have a separate game, and it's going to be like about the group of them being together in some like a family. And Chris Redfield's going to get replaced by Vin Diesel.
I liked the squad. I really, the more and more I think back on it,
cool.
It's cool to have a squad that, like every other time Chris has had a squad, they've been fucking nobodies, and they've all died. And then he's been like either really cut up about it or not cut up about it at all. Like really inconsistently, it's really, really weighing on him that his teammates are dead, or he just moves on and doesn't think about it. Where these guys actually seem like absolute badasses.
They definitely feel like the kind of guys that are, like, they even come off as like, yeah, they're there, they're going to do the job, but they're not going to follow orders to a T. I mean, as like Chris is like walking away from the Metamu site, and the guy's just like, no. Why didn't you tell Ethan? Like, this was stupid. You should have told him.
Yeah. It was stupid, and he should have told him.
It was very stupid.
It would have saved so much time.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, no, you literally can describe this in like a minute.
Yeah. It would have taken him all of 2 seconds to be
he
like.
He could have described it while he was shooting Mia in the face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It all makes sense in like 5 seconds, I swear.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Speaking of Ethan as a character, we haven't talked about like his kind of development from 7 as having no personality to having a bad personality.
No, I've worked this out.
I've personality I found grating.
I thought about this, and I think I've worked it out. So the way that they explain it at the end of 8, the big reveal is that Ethan died at the beginning of 7. He's mold. He has no feelings.
No, but this is okay. Yeah, I wanted to ask your opinion on this as well, because the bit they show in the cutscene of him getting killed in 7, he gets like punched and then stomped on. That's where he dies.
That's sort of where they're.
So where did he get infected with the mold? Did it just seep into him? Was it on the ground?
Yeah, he would have been buried or thrown into the back somewhere, and the mold's all over the landfill.
But isn't after that bit where you wake up at the dinner table?
No, you wake up at the table after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt like it felt like
It feels like they were filling.
It feels like felt like retconning in the name of linking all this shit together. And like, I don't know, whoever was putting that cutscene together picked the wrong part of the cutscene to splice in there. I feel like there's plenty of other, like there probably would have been other spots in that game that would have made more sense.
Like the knife in the hand or something.
I don't know.
Any of that stuff with Mia, like, because it's sort of implied that like literally any contact, like physical contact with it, will infect you.
Like they didn't want to say it, but they really should have just said it. It wasn't Jack that killed Ethan. It was Mia. Mia's at fault. Mia's at fault for all of this.
Mia is a bad
I hold
person.
her responsible. She's a bad parent. She's a bad wife. She's a bad human.
Okay. She has this going for her, though, over Ethan. Her dialogue's not fucking garbage.
No, but I would take terrible garbage, bad Ethan dialogue.
Yeah.
A dead body.
Yeah.
Over
There's
over
more
fucking,
of them.
Over Mia's passive aggressive. It's fine.
No, that was Miranda.
That was
I know,
Miranda.
It doesn't matter. It's,
oh my god, you're holding her responsible for the fucking doppelganger?
That's the kind of shit that she was like in 7 anyway. Like,
that was
it's
mimic
not that
gamer
different.
wife, dude.
That was Miranda mimicking Mia exactly how Mia acts. So I'm going to hold her accountable for that.
You think Miranda hung around for long enough to get a feel for how she spoke to Ethan? Was like, wow,
yeah,
she's
the
a real
passive
bitch.
aggressive shit.
Yeah,
You know,
if I'm
Miranda-
going to pull it off, I guess I could better talk like that.
Miranda was getting like acting advice from like Jared Leto and stuff first to be like, how can I be Mia?
Well, Dag's right. They gave us shit for picking Zoe. I picked Zoe on my first playthrough because it made sense. Because it was, by that point, it was like, okay, Mia is involved with bioterrorists.
Yeah.
Zoe is an innocent person that her family has become monsters, and she has helped you get Mia back, make the cure, and try and help you escape. And there's only one thing left. It's like, she's the one that's fucking hardly done by and should be sympathetic. But everybody seems to fucking love Mia.
Yeah, no.
I don't feel particularly passionate or dispassionate about Mia. I just think her dialogue's less shit than Ethan's.
Yeah, sure.
And I had to spend 8.5 hours listening to Ethan's dialogue.
But it's okay.
He doesn't talk that much, though.
You don't have to anymore.
He talks too much.
It's over.
Yeah.
No, because I got to play the fucking thing again.
Oh,
and this is the thing: the gameplay and the gameplay loop is satisfying enough that I want to play it again. But you know,
I have
to deal with that shit.
Yep.
Yeah, there's things where it's like once the game is over, the way that they send his character out, I'm like, okay, the fatherly aspect of wanting to protect his daughter, that stuff's nice. That stuff I can
that kept me going.
That does it for me. That's fine. And knowing that like this is the end of his story and that's all wrapped up, I'm more positive about it if they hadn't and they would be like, oh, RE9, it's Ethan again. Then I would have been pissed. Yeah. But then in the same way, once we weren't I'd forgotten how irritating it is that every single cutscene from 7 and 8 had to be in the first-person perspective because Ethan was this first-person perspective character with no face. The second it switches to Chris and all of his cutscenes are in third person, it feels like a Resident Evil game again, more so of a Resident Evil game in terms of the story and the characterization. Like the rest of Village it's through and through in terms of the gameplay and the mechanics and the gameplay loops, but when Chris fucking started being in cutscenes and talking and it was not first person, it could break out into third person when a cutscene happened. I was like, oh my God, this is so refreshing.
Yeah.
Thank God.
With the cutscenes, with the gameplay element of being Chris and having like his team with him and it's like you're hearing them talking back and forth and just the kind of like your overpowered machine gun that's just going to just do better than every other weapon you've used so far in your first run through. It felt more like I switched from playing Resident Evil to something like Black Ops.
Yeah, I felt like I was suddenly playing Call of Duty.
I didn't mind that at all. I liked okay, Ethan is underpowered because he's shit. Here is Chris, he's awesome. give me a superhero. Like, that's fine. I loved the banter of, like, all of them, like, talking over the comms and stuff like that and being super cool special ops.
Yeah, I liked the juxtaposition of Ethan it being real survival horror, and then you're playing as Chris, who is, like, Ethan's had military training between this game and the last one.
It's been, what, 3 years?
So he's slightly more, so he's slightly more capable, and they explain that away, but he's still ultimately, he's not fucking Chris Redfield. So playing as Chris Redfield and feeling like the kind of power fantasy behind that was really cool. And I think that section came at a good point where, like, okay, I don't love Ethan's, like, his dialogue or his characterization, but his motivations are, noble and you empathize with them and stuff. So when it appears that he's dead, and the guy you've been playing as for 7 hours up to that point is dead, you are going, oh fuck, I didn't see that coming. And you feel like, and the big bad's still out there. So when you jump into Chris's shoes and he's like, Ethan Winters dead, never gets any easier. Hoorah, you're just like, fuck yeah, dude.
That's what I was feeling.
Like Ethan more than I did, so let's pretend to be you. I'm you for now. And,
totally.
And I think it felt cool to just be like blitzing through the village that when you first encountered it as Ethan, is so overwhelming and genuinely terrifying to just survive for that 5 minutes or whatever it is. It's genuinely harrowing to come back to it as Chris and just be like that was really fucking fun.
Have like 600
really
rounds.
Cool.
I completely agree. I fucking loved it. I would caveat that with, I'm not saying that's what I want for an entire Resident Evil game. I think the section like this in this game was fucking awesome, and I loved it being over the top and actiony. If Chris is a protagonist that's going to be the main protagonist in a following game, there needs to be some sort of scenario where it's like, he gets cut off from his team and, like, his equipment's fucked up, so they're sort of bringing him down, and it's like he's not coming in on a helicopter, just dropping in to a bloody situation with a machine gun and 300 rounds, and it's like, let's do it.
I have I don't know if you've got it, if you want to talk about this later, but I have a theory about the next game, like what it's going to be.
I think we can get to that pretty shortly. I guess if we want to wrap up with anything else besides.
I want to, like, I've spent a good portion kind of talking about the story being silly and making no sense, which is kind of, you go into a Resident Evil game, I think, suspending your disbelief to a point. I think this kind of overstepped the mark, at least for me, in terms of how it tried to wrap everything into, like, the greater universe and stuff. But again, that as a self-contained adventure for that first 6.5 or so hours, especially like those first 3 lords, was fucking wonderful. I loved all that, like, magic is real. And look, here's a fish man, and here's the fucking, like, the dollhouse sequence. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, easily the scariest.
I was terrified. I was playing it in I was streaming it in Discord with some friends watching, and even I was playing in broad daylight. It was, like, bright in my room. I had friends on headset with me, but I was still so tense and just screaming when that fucking baby started coming down the hallway, like through the torchlight. I was just like, no, like, just freaking the fuck out.
It's so really unsettling. It doesn't get any easier going back and replaying that section. So
unsettling and genuinely terrifying. Like, I haven't been that tense and that freaked out since I played Visage last year.
Yep.
Kind of more indie horror game, first person though, very very PT-esque. This felt like stands kind of head and shoulders with those experiences, I think, which is really cool. I feel like those first 3 chapters feel like their own little takes, like separate takes on, like, kind of gothic horror. You've got the kind of castle, and then this,
what's his name,
Moreau, kind of psychological thing, and then the
Moreau's
Moreau
literally
section.
Like a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And you've sort of got your Van Helsing, you've got your vampires, you've got your Frankenstein, like, it's werewolves, like, it's all of those classic gothic horror sort of subject matters and tropes.
Yeah. And then the kind of creepy psychological kind of haunted house kind of thing, monster in the dark. That was really cool. I felt like the Heisenberg section was slightly underwhelming. Did you feel that way? I felt like the environments, the game is gorgeous, from head to toe, but that section got a little bit monotonous. I think
a tiny bit, I'd say. I
was playing on standard. I think maybe on hardcore I would have found it a little bit more challenging, and perhaps gotten more out of it. But by that point in the game, I was pretty well kitted out, and the monsters were presenting more of they were more of an annoyance than a challenge or any kind of engaging threat.
Yeah, I agree that you're so powered by that point that they're not very challenging, that the difficulty curve at the beginning is incredible.
Yeah.
That's why I started on hardcore and had to switch to standard, because I didn't know that scene the village section was going to play out. Like, oh yeah, no, you just have to survive for like 5 minutes and then you're going to go off to Lady D and then come back to the werewolves last, and they're actually like the hardest shit ever. I was just sitting there like dying over and over, going like, fuck, I'm streaming this. I need to fucking I can't be stuck here for hours. But I did enjoy that it was unlike some people.
Yeah.
I like the puppet escape room sequence. I don't know how I'll feel about it replaying it multiple times, that it's sort of one of those moments where it's like, oh, now you don't have weapons, you're stuck in this. So about replayability. But I think that the factory is good in that the section with Lady D in the castle is quite long, and it's a miniature like Spencer Estate layout, even though village as a whole, like the village is that central area that you're going off to other areas and coming back to, in the way that you would in the mansion in the first one. You would have all of the armor key and the sword key and the shield key, and you would go off to the greenhouse, or like the guest house, and then you would get a key, and then you would come back and you could be like, oh, I can re-explore this mansion. You were doing that with the village section. The puppet section and then Moreau section being so short and not having that sort of layout, coming back to a larger like meatier chunk for the final lord, I didn't mind. But I agree that it was a bit underwhelming because of just how kitted out you were.
Yeah. So for me, I played standard and then did the hardcore run as a new game plus. I didn't have any infinite ammo running through hardcore, so I was trying to do this with good guns but limited ammo. And what I found was they don't actually limit the amount of ammo that you're playing on standard and hardcore. Like, the same drops are in there, so you're not going to have any sort of issues there. Though the problem I found was when I got to Heisenberg's, because I was already in that headspace of this is fine, blah blah blah, blasting everything away, trying to get through it fast enough. I came across the fully kitted out dudes, like the drill guys.
Yeah.
With all of the armor?
Yep. And I was like, oh, I can do this. Pull out my grenade launcher, and I had no shells.
Yep. Nice.
So I was like, I actually can't take these guys on. I need to rethink this. So I had to go run around, find enough scrap to like make a pipe bomb to break their armor down. It was that challenge of being like, no, I know I can't win this fight, and I'm not going to sit here replaying this forever. I need to run away. And so it was like, that for me wasn't like, I didn't get that feeling of like, oh, this is piss. This is much easier than I thought it would be. It was like, oh no, I have a challenge here because I kind of did it to myself. And I guess out of the three of us, I've played through the campaign far too many times. When it comes to the mansion now, not the mansion, sorry, the haunted house, the only way that I'm getting entertainment out of it is how fast can I get out? Like, what corners can I cut to be able to do this? Like, I've memorized I've memorized
the code for the door and everything.
So it's like, I don't have to worry about that. I just need to get right kits, get in, out. Baby does not scare anymore because you just kind of know where it's coming. And so it's just like, just trying to get through that as fast as I possibly can was the only way I was getting enjoyment out of it.
I think Lucas's section in 7 is a lot quicker to speedrun on second goings, because all you need to do is get the candle, like burn the bit of rope tied up on the door, and then if you know the code is loser, it's just like, boom, you got the crank, done.
Yeah.
Where this one forces you to go through a lot more of walking around and like interacting with environments, even if you know the solutions.
Yeah.
One of the things that, and it happens a lot in the haunted house, but it was one of the things overall with the game, was points I can't control, but they don't count as cutscenes. So if I'm doing multiple, like if I'm doing a 5th run through, and there are bits in the game, like for example, in the haunted house, you put all the film. You get all the film together, and then you have to watch the film.
When the video plays, it's not a cutscene that you can skip. Can't
skip it, so you have to sit there for like however long to do it. And when you're trying to get through fast, that's just chewing up your time.
Yeah, it's annoying. And I've seen lots of people constantly hitting start and opening the menu because it's first person, you can't tell the difference between a cutscene and not a cutscene sometimes. Where with like 2 remake and 3 remake, if it's a cutscene, like the camera angle shifts and you can tell straight away.
There was literally only one, apart from like the ending, the only time I saw something and I was like, fuck, that's a cutscene. It's when the bridge is coming up to Heisenberg's. Like the quality
true.
Yeah.
It does. It just cuts away for 1 second.
Yeah.
That quality was like completely different. And I'm just like, whoa, shit. Like that took me out for a second. But that was cool. But I think what I really enjoyed was the Easter eggs. They're not confirmed by Capcom in any means. But like, as you just said, the mansion, like the castle is the mansion. There are so many points you can look at, and you're just like, this is exactly that. Like the main hall.
You think like,
well, there's that thing that like all of the other mansions. There's like a mansion in 5. There's a mansion in Vendetta, and they're all almost exactly the same layout as one because it is established in the lore that Spencer went around and like built tons of these all over the place.
Yeah.
So like I think it's a nice hint that if Spencer came here before he founded Umbrella, he might have taken a little bit of inspiration from this like actual castle that's been here for a long time.
If he's pinching the logo, he might pinch
a few more things
as well.
Yeah.
Well, like
so like going up to the ladies' chambers was
that main hall is that thing where you go like, oh look, it's a mansion. There's this main hall and there's a staircase. This one has 2 of them, one after another. There is the one that has the 4 heads as the puzzle. That main foyer, that has the middle staircase. You go up that staircase and you're in another fucking one with the side turning staircase. It's so awesome.
But
Someone Trippin said in chat just quickly that I agree that it's cool that the baby feet is showing up. You don't lose control or go into a cutscene at all for that appearance. It just appears there out of nowhere. Yeah, that is a strength.
The fact that it's up to you to run away is definitely a strength for that section. And definitely lends to makes it a scarier experience. Like, cutscene, whatever. I can just look away. But
it's one of those things now where like modern games is you get that like it's a cutscene for the introduction to the big thing.
Yeah.
So like you're so used to that, like we're so ingrained of being like, here comes the cutscene, and when that just doesn't happen, it's just like
it's just walking towards you, and it's just like real uncomfy feeling.
At the moment, do you guys have, before we like get onto like theories and shit about the next, where the series is heading from here, do you have any like final thoughts on the game, like in terms of like favorite parts, or like what's your favorite section? Because it is
I think it's probably the castle.
Defined.
Yeah, Castle's
pretty good, although I do find it I was sort of expecting Lady D to be a bit trivial because she's a pursuer character, and once you know what the pursuer characters are like, it's always just avoid them. Yeah, that's all. And I think that there wasn't as many enemies in the actual castle that made it difficult. Like in RE2 Remake, you're running around through the precinct. You've had this whole time to learn the precinct and be like, oh shit, there's a licker in this room. I've got to like walk slowly so that he can't hear me running because he's blind, so I can get around him. And there's all these zombies that I've been trying to avoid using my ammo on. Then when you get back after fighting Birkin for the first time, and then Mr. X is chasing you, and you're like, oh shit, there's so many zombies in all of these places, and I'm trying to like figure out where am I going to go, what route will I take to get to the objective I need to, and then there's like lickers in the way, there's zombies in the way that'll grab you, and then there's also Mr. X coming up after you, where in the castle it's basically just Lady D. Yeah. So I never had any difficulty just avoiding her.
No, it felt like the those sections highlight, for the most part, I think the controls are quite satisfying and quite responsive and feel quite intuitive, but there are moments where the first person perspective feels a little cumbersome, and I think like the during those moments where you're like during combat or whatever, and you try to block or you try to run away, and you miscalculate how thick Ethan be, and you can't get past an enemy, and you just kind of there like, excuse me, sorry, no, that's all good. Like, kind of
takes me stuck on like the door frames and stuff when I was trying to like
takes you out of the experience a little bit. Yeah. And I felt like that a little bit with the Pursuer stuff.
But yeah, the castle's gorgeous. Lady D's design is so awesome.
Yeah, that whole section is fucking excellent. I think honestly, the first 4 hours of the game is probably my favorite. Like up to the 4 or 5 hours. I think everything up to the dollhouse is fucking awesome, and then the dollhouse is great. But I think replayability, like I'm once you know what the scare is, it's infinitely less effective.
It is definitely less effective.
So I don't know, and yeah, I feel like the back half of the game is kind of not quite as strong.
No, I think that's like a curse, or typically every Resident Evil is like that. Even when you go back to 1 and 2, like the mansion and the precinct is the best part, and when you get to the lab at the end, that's like the weakest part. Even RE4, the village is awesome, castle's pretty good, and then Island is like, it's fine, but it's not great. I think this is one of the strongest where the worst it gets isn't that bad compared to some of the others where the last third of it is really a slog. Yeah. But yeah, I think it still definitely has that problem where the beginning is the most interesting and the most fun, and they can't like keep that up for the whole time through. Yeah. I was thinking they just need to make like 4 Resident Evil games and then take the first 25% from each one and stitch them together, and then you have a perfect game. It'd be fun all the way through. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. And if you're worried about it being a tonal mess, just Resident Evil Village is
it's a Resident Evil game. What do you mean?
It's a Resident Evil game. Yeah, exactly.
It can't be
just throw an
tonal mess is that when they start brainstorming a new Resident Evil game, they get the whiteboard, they just write tonal mess bubble and then like lines coming out from there. Ethan, what about you? What's favorite part?
Favorite part is definitely the castle.
Hey Penny.
It's the only thing that I've been like constantly being like every playthrough has just been like this is my favorite bit. Positives and negatives for the guys who like built the architecture of the game. Like this is like game dev. The game devs, like it looks great. The whole it's very open though. I found like other Resident Evil games, like with Resident Evil 2, you were in hallways a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like it was like you were very tied in. Whereas like you didn't get a lot of that until you were in even in the haunted house. It's not even that big. Like I think
there are some hallways in the castle and they feel quite narrow, but you're not normally getting caught in them. There are a lot of open rooms as well. Yeah.
And
like so the courtyard is gigantic.
Well, yeah, I was able to just run circles around there, and that was able to get through everything. And then the other thing I had that I just kind of found as like an issue because it was how I kind of cheesed the game was the pursuers don't have a back radius. So when the pursuers are scanning, they only have a cone in front of them.
Yeah.
There is nothing behind them that is any sort of a radius. I was right up against Lady D for pursuing reasons.
Look at this man outing himself on the internet.
We were both just
with his face right up in there.
We were both just walking. I was right behind her and we were just walking down the stairs. And she didn't notice me until when she gets to the stairs, she does a turn to go to the back room, to like the dining room area. So all of a sudden, that turn, I was in her radius, and she was just like...
But I think that's kind of the point that you can crouch. They kind of want you to try and stealth a little bit. Because you can do that with Mr. X to a degree. But yeah, if you make noise, I'm sure...
No, that was the thing. I wasn't crouched at all. I was just standing there.
No, but I mean, like, if you were... breaking a vase, she would be quiet.
If I pulled a gun and just went bang, she'd turn around and be like...
Shot her in the ass.
Have you seen the mod that replaced the knife with a fly swatter?
Yes. Yeah, I did see that.
Yes, no, sorry, distracted. No, I loved that. The haunted house was fun on the first go. It wasn't like multiple playthroughs, it's not great.
Yeah.
Moreau, for me, was probably the most lackluster of them all. I don't know how you would change it because it's a whole like water big fish puzzle system to go through. I'm like, I don't know how you'd extend that, because if you take that on too long, that kind of gets draining and a bit boring.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it needed to be a quick little thing. It was just the boss fight.
I think probably what you do is you have it more like there's a lake with the big monster in it, and you get in a rowboat, like a little motorboat, and you like grapple onto it with a rope, and then you throw harpoons at it until it dies.
Yeah, I think that'd be
That's
a better
probably how
way
you improve it.
I genuinely seeing big fish. I was just like, is there actually going to be a throwback to RE4 here where I'm going to go riding with the fish? But it was just like, no, he's just going to eat me if I touch the water.
Drain the swamp. Then he can't swim anyway.
I think something that I found strange is going into it. At first, I was expecting the game to be as scary as Resident Evil 7. Because Resident Evil 7 is genuinely
really
a viscerally scary experience. It's a true survival horror game. This feels more like Resident Evil 4 in that it's a more it's like an adrenaline kind of fueled, action horror experience. But it's so there was this weird disconnect where I'm like, I'm playing the sequel to a game that was genuinely very scary, and it's not very scary.
Yeah.
But I'm having fun, so I'm like, I was a little confused as to what I should be like valuing more highly.
Yeah.
Well, I know for sure I value the fun way more. Like Resident Evil 7 is the one in the series that going back and replaying, I don't find a lot of enjoyment in, because it is such a not just scary, but like it's like a depressing like environment
across
to
the
be
board.
in.
It's bleak.
It's really, really bleak. Where even though it's spooky haunted mansion, I love being in the Spencer estate and the police precinct. I fucking love those environments to death.
Yeah.
And love replaying those ones. This, I was getting more of that feel of I'm having fun and enjoying myself. And say like the doll section is that one moment in this game where I felt similar to 7 in terms of the environment of being like, I feel uncomfortable. I don't like this. I'm anxious. I want to leave.
Yeah.
Similar to like Evil Within 1, I got that vibe from, where Evil Within 2 was the like, I love here. I want to scour every corner and find every bit of item and survival horror my way through it all.
Yeah, right.
For sure. I will also say, just for the sake of reading people saying we're horny, for me, fucking Heisenberg, man. I'll put it out there, dude.
Heisenberg is pretty fucking cool.
They were holding off. They were giving everyone Lady D, and like the internet got horny for Lady D. Motherfucker, the moment you're introduced to Heisenberg, I was just like, excuse me?
I think there's gonna be like a second wave of horny for Heisenberg.
Oh yeah,
there
absolutely.
We go. Horny for Heisenberg.
Hashtag.
Let's get that going. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking badass. I love...
It's such a all of these characters are goofy as shit, but his performance, he sounds like Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, he was so Nick Cage in this.
He's really hamming it up. Which also, fun fact, this is portrayed by the voice actor / mocap artist who did Nikolai and Nemesis in RE3 Remake. So again, reusing people.
Yeah.
It was just good time, and his hammer was cool. But I wished that he used his hammer more.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like,
didn't use
"Fuck
it at
all." I'd love if like the boss fight with him was the stages, and the first stage was him and Hammer. Like that'd be a cool fight.
Although I did love mech. I was like, yeah, fucking cool. do it. Yeah, fucking chainsaw. It was so dope when he's coming down the steps, and the steps are like metal plates that he's creating as he's walking.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, his character is really cool.
Can you be more of a fucking badass anime antagonist?
Yeah, totally.
He would be like the only one I'd want to survive to see in a future game. Like make him the new Wesker or something, where it's just like he's there and he's just constantly in pursuit.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that carry on to the next game, the series has sort of always had a weird problem after killing Wesker of like, oh, there's no big bad. What do we do? And there's been lots of other games that have had loose ends, but I don't think any of them have as many as this, where they introduce so much. Like, Chris, like we said before, Chris showing up and then being like, what the fuck's the BSAA doing here? They've got too far. I was like, oh shit. And then that scene at the end where they're in the chopper and one of his dudes is like, Captain, you better look at this. They're like, this isn't a soldier, this is a bioweapon. You're like, what? The BSAA using fucking zombie bioweapon soldiers?
Yeah.
They're an anti-bioweapon organization. What the fuck's going on? And he's like, set a course for BSAA Europe headquarters. I was like,
someone's got to pay. Yeah. I was like, oh, you fucking got me.
That stuff hooked me so hard. I love that like goofy, but really like high intensity, really like they're not really playing it as campy. Like it's super goofy and over the top, but they're playing it super serious. I love that. It's this
like level of machismo that is just like it goes from like flexing like yeah, it's like it's camp, baby, you know. It's a lot of fun. I am excited to see where that goes. I hope the next one is I don't know, more consistently campy in that way. I want to see more Chris. I want to get back on track with like the established characters a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to say that was something.
What do you think? What do you make of the cutscene afterwards with Thingo's daughter?
I was just before that. I was going to say I had enough of Chris when they were showing him off in this game. I was like, we've had Chris in 5, 6, 7, and 8 back to back. Where the fuck is Jill? Where the fuck is Claire? Like we haven't seen Jill since 5. Fucking bring her back. What the hell?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
With the things that they tease in this that cutscene, I was like, dude, I want a Chris game now. Or like Jill was part of the BSAA, like she could be part of that whole problem as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then they go, with that after credits scene, and they show Rose Winters as a like teenager sort of thing, and it's like, oh shit, she's getting special training. She's got powers. She's She's sort of like the Sherry Birkin to this scenario, where then she grew up with special powers, healing powers, and showed up in 6. Are we going to get Rose as the next protagonist?
Sure,
could be cool.
It's just like what to make of it. Suddenly they're teasing something that you're like, oh, I think this is going to be the next game. And then they tease a new protagonist, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is it going to? Is she going to be the next game, or is that going to be the next game? Which one?
Well, I read or I heard somewhere that Capcom has said that this is a trilogy?
Yeah, I've heard that as well somewhere, but I haven't actually read it anywhere. I've just heard someone saying that this is set up as the middle of a trilogy.
I mean, it makes sense that they would end it with the father's story is now over. Like,
that's a bit of
implying
bit of a tease. Yeah, that there's more to come still.
Or are they going to go, the father's story's over? Now it's Chris Redfield's go. Like, you know.
Also, just as well, while we're talking about the end of the game, the literal end. Did the car stop? Or did they just like fuck up and the cutscene is like,
okay, yes.
Should it have gone to black earlier? Like,
I think so. Or they like
because there's a dude walking towards the car.
I don't know how they do this shit, but did they just needed to fade to black earlier or cut to black earlier? Just didn't program or whatever the car to keep moving. They just
like they had an end point.
Far enough. Yeah.
Because the person on the side of the road, it just looks like, oh, that's somebody walking. But
the amount of shit people are reading into this, though.
It's like, yeah, exactly. I think that's all being read into.
One thing I saw yesterday was like, oh, it's the ghost of her father. It's the spirit of Ethan Winters. I'm like, how do you figure, sports fan?
Yeah, I don't think so. Something's telling me that if we do get a sequel with Rose, that little end cutscene isn't going to feature in it at all.
So inconsequential, yeah.
They're not going to have anything to do with it at all.
Because I thought it was just another issue, because there was went back on the, like, in the part of why I didn't like the Moreau bit, right, was the crank. You pick up the crank off the second wheel.
And then you have to use it on the second wheel.
But you can't use it straight away.
Yeah.
You have to go over to the ladder bit that's about to stop, and you have to interact with that first before you can put the crank back on.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
I was like, stupid. Why are you doing this to me? Like, so every run through, I have to go back and forth. I'm like, that's stupid. That's dumb. And so when that happened at the end, I'm like, you know what? I reckon they just got lazy with their
There's every chance that is the case, but I think there's also every chance that I feel like they're going to see the response to that, and they're going to go, good idea, glad I thought of it, and like they'll implement it in the next game somehow. They'll retcon it to be like, hey, you know, the end of the last game, this actually happened. She was dead and made of mold the whole time, and fuck you for doubting us.
But she is. She is mold.
I know she's mold. I fucking know she's mold. Oh god.
It's well, so sorry, going back to that sort of that whole thing with the mold. The way that they talk about that the cure for the virus acts as a poison if you're infected for too long, and that's why they had 2 cures, and Ethan stabbed Jack with it when he came into the big monster with eyeballs to kill him.
Right.
So that's the same idea with Ethan, that he was infected for too long. So no, there was like no turning back. But Zoe was cured and is all right. She became an Elsa Crystal Princess in the DLC, but she was okay.
Oh, okay.
You didn't play that DLC?
I didn't play the DLC.
No. Dude, if you want some fucking tonal whiplash, you should play the End of Zoe DLC for RE7.
Okay.
It really goes ham and camp really hard.
Yep. Really? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that Rose, I think she is infected with the virus. Like, she has latent abilities that are going to be cool, and she's super special, but she's not like going to die or something, I think.
Because of it?
Are we going to talk about next?
No.
Are we talking
No,
next
I feel like she's... Now? Yeah. I feel like she's... Isn't she supposed to... I thought the implication was that... Or I read somewhere that she has, like, inherited all of the powers of the, like, metamycete shit with none of the drawbacks, none of the
could be
issues, and that potentially because the megamycete or whatever was like had all the consciousness of the people who died to it inside it, that she's got like perhaps got like memories and shit of her father and of
Mother Miranda.
Miranda and stuff.
Potentially. I think it's there's not a definitive answer, so yeah, it's up for debate. I was hearing rumors as before Village came out that this started as Revelations 3 and then got decided to like be bumped up to a numbered game in the series because of how good it was. But I'm not sure about that now, because now the rumors are that that there's another game coming out at the end of the year as a Switch exclusive that is going to star Rebecca Chambers. That might be that game that was going to be Revelations 3. But this end cutscene feels like the end of a Revelations game cutscene, because Revelations 1 and 2 both had end cutscenes where they, specifically Revelations 2, where it was like, oh yeah, the child's fine. Oh no, but is that villain actually dormant inside the child, and it's going to be the main big bad for the series later? Maybe. Right. And then they just never talked about it again. But yeah, so either way, like I think I'm not like, I don't know about like the finishing of a trilogy or whatever. I'm not that keen on that. I like the idea of Zoe as a character. Like visually, I'm just like, yep, that's cool. She seems like she could be a cool Resident Evil protagonist.
Yeah.
And we kind of need them, because the issue that the games kind of are starting to face is that the series is so old. Chris Redfield is 47 years old. Barry is pushing 70. He's like retired or whatever.
Yeah.
We're going to get to a point, because they're all generally set in like the year they come out in, besides like a few prequels. We're going to get to a point where the main leads are going to be too old, and we need people to like take on the gauntlet and like, you know, pass the mantle over. So if they were setting up Rose as that, as like the next generation of Resident Evil main protagonists, I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm down with that. I like that idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't they like, they already started that? It's Ashley, man.
Do you think because this is the let's say it is the third in a trilogy, the next one, the first two have been first person with a protagonist whose face we never saw, do you think that we've seen if Rose is the protagonist of the third one, which would make sense? We've seen her face. Is it going to be third person, or are they going to stick it to?
I'd say they'll do what they did with Chris.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Person, like the really
third
cool
person in the cutscenes, and then first person in the game.
Yeah, which I think is probably likely. I don't like the sound of it. Like, I really want them to get back to the third person ones. It just doesn't feel as enjoyable.
Yeah, I was gonna say with how good 2 and 3 were, like the remakes of 2 and 3, it shows that third person still works perfectly.
Yeah, and that they are. I think two remakes outsold 7. So I think that overall as a series, I feel confident enough that they're gonna finish what they're doing with this story,
and then go back to
eventually. But I would prefer it to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, sure. I feel like there's hope that they will go to a third person perspective after this, because even if this is like a trilogy, they've shown that they're not opposed to turning on a dime and changing the tone.
Yeah, totally. And if you're changing the protagonist,
the trilogy, like if they're going from
change it,
like gritty, like Louisiana swamp horror shit to gothic, wacky, fucking magic is real horror. Like if tonal whiplash isn't an issue for them, then surely a perspective shift
won't
isn't
be
either. And again, we've seen the face, so I don't know. It feels like it feels like a possibility at least.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I think it's a possibility.
Yeah. I'm sure nothing's like set in stone yet, because it'd be so early for the next one. I think.
What was the gap between 7 and Village?
3 years.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So 2017. Was it 2017?
Yeah, 2017. End of 2017, start of 2018. So it was 3 years. Yeah.
Wait,
because we're in 2020. Like, because the game is based in 2021.
Oh, it is confirmed to be in the year 2021.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been 2020.
Yeah, there's diary entries and stuff that you can.
Oh yeah, cool. Well, in that case, Chris is 48. My math is off.
I'm glad you're keeping tabs on it. Chris Redfield's age.
Yep.
Look, someone has to celebrate his birthday, Connor.
I thought because RE7 it launched in in February.
Yes.
Was it like no? It was January 2017.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had 2017, and then we got 2019 was RE2 remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then RE2 remake was 2019, 2020 was RE3 remake, and then 2021 is Village.
Do you think we're going to get a couple more? I mean, I feel like it is the case. Are we going to get a couple more remakes, or
yeah, so I think
offshoots between now and the next one?
The Rebecca starring one that's rumored to be called Resident Evil Outrage.
Ooh, fuck yeah!
At the end of the year,
that sounds fun.
And then we've got the 4 remake.
Yep,
slated for around 2023.
Okay,
so maybe this one, like Resident Evil 9, comes out 2024, maybe.
Unless
I like people's idea that they should call the next game Resident Evil 6, and then the I and the X can be in orange for Roman numeral 9, just to fucking confuse everyone.
That's really funny. That's really fucking funny.
What else was I going to say? So yeah, I was like trying to read up and be like, what is this? What's going on? And the Wikipedia article, the wiki literally has just like in brackets the 2030s, and it just like has 2 sentences describing that cutscene. Like that's it, nothing else. But I was watching the lovely Maximilian Dude react to the ending of that cutscene, and he made a really good point. I think him being a new father, like sort of picked up on things that we probably weren't. In the files at the beginning, they talk about Rose's birth weight, and it's like 26 pounds. And he's like, that's a fucking insanely big baby. So he put forward that it's possible that it's not that cutscene doesn't actually take place like 15 years in the future, that Rose is actually aging at a fast rate. They kind of teased that. So it might not be the case of, Chris's sort of teased sequel and then also the teased sequel for Rose. Like, they could be sort of the same thing.
That's really interesting.
That's funnily enough, that's where I think this is going for this next game. I think that this next game, this Resident Evil 9, is going to be a beautiful blend of Resident Evil 4 and The Last of Us. Grizzled old man, younger girl who's like angry and kind of out of it. But instead of being the the Ashley, she's going to end up being like a character. Be like Resident Evil 5, where it's like your co-op, like your partner has powers that she can use. And so it's like, Outrage, that sounds perfect. The both of them are angry right now. She's angry at like fucking everything. He's angry at BSAA. Outrage, let's go.
Wasn't Outrage the name of the one with the one coming out later this year?
Yeah, the one coming out with Rebecca.
Yeah. So they've already got that.
Yeah, they've already taken Outrage.
I like you. Anger's really going. Yeah, no, that's cool. And
Overrage, Hyper Rage.
I will say, you mentioned that she might be like Sheva. Rose looks like a really cool character. I hope she's involved in the game, and I do like that idea that you get to play both of them in some respect, or maybe team up, or there's like a co-op aspect to it. But if Rose tells me to not be reckless, I'm snapping the disc.
I was gonna say, as long as they don't do a Last of Us 2 and decide to just be like, Chris is pinned to the ground and Rose just has to watch. Like, don't do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't think they will, but I do look forward to the day at some point eventually in the future when they do decide to kill off a main character as like this is their last game, and they go out like in a blaze of glory, like saving everyone, but it's a sacrifice they're making. Like when the day comes and like Chris or Leon like take one for the team to save the world,
it's why they keep Leon away.
Start bawling. I won't be able to hold back.
They kept Leon away because they don't want to do it, and they're just like, Chris has been involved a lot, hasn't he? You really like Chris, don't you?
Nine's going to start with Rose and Chris having like a little cabin at the base of a mountain, and then a fucking landslide starts, and Chris is like, "Run! I'll fend him off."
No gun, no knife, just fists.
Exactly. Yeah. Fisticuffs, just doing what he
loves.
Boom,
and like every punch, they're just like bursting into dust.
Yeah,
it's really epic, and then they all just like pile on him. He's like, "There's too many, I can't hold him."
It could genuinely be like, there's a group that's like Rose, Chris, and his crew, like all of them together, and then they just get split up due to something happening, and so you're spending the majority of the game as Chris and Rose trying to make your way to your end point, which is back to the group.
Yeah.
And like they could really go something really cool with this. But who knows? I mean, I'm not saying I'd be right, but I mean, I did play the Maiden demo and I said, this looks like the origin of Umbrella, and everybody was like, come on, man, that's pushing.
I thought that was established.
I thought that was pretty obvious from like the first trailer. There was an Umbrella logo somewhere, so it was just like assumed.
I was playing it on stream and everyone's just like, nah, come on, man, that's not.
Well, they must have been not very well informed people, because if I was there, I would have agreed with you. So I got you back, Ethan. Yeah, overall, I feel I'm very fond of this game, but it feels to me like there's so many things that I would enjoy it a lot more if it was third person. Like that just keeps coming back to that, and also then the main character. Like this feels like if Resident Evil 4 was that Resident Evil 4, but they just made Leon's character model invisible and replace his voice acting with like monotone bad writing. Yeah, it would just not like I just wouldn't love it as much without that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's certainly it's a very compelling mixed bag.
I think just like judging it based on its actual sort of like raw, like what you would score it. I think it's like up there, quite high for in the series. But personally, in terms of what. Where I would rank it, like I still like Revelations 2 more than this.
Yeah, okay. I still haven't played any of the Revelations games actually.
Oh, Revelations,
so Revelations 2, dude. It is like Revelations 2 is this sequel to RE5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It plays like that. It ties back in a lot thematically and character wise.
Yeah,
it's really cool. It's really good, and also the co-op experience is like arguably more unique than in RE5.
Okay,
because you have one character with the weapon, like using weapons, and one character that doesn't have any guns and only has melee weapons.
That's really interesting.
And it's a what do you call it? Like a non-symmetrical co-op.
Yeah.
Experience.
I must give it a go. I think in terms of like a scoring, I feel like the more I think on it, the more I'm kind of leaning towards like if I had to give it a number, like a 7. I think if I was being harsh, probably a 6.5. If I was being generous, maybe a 7.5, an 8. But I think 7 is kind of right. Yeah, I don't know. It's no Resident Evil 4, but few things are. I think I like 2 Remake more than this. I think as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
2 Remake is up there, like for me between 4 and 2 Remake. It's a tough decision to make. It's a Sophie's Choice scenario, honestly.
Yeah. But again, the immediate experience of playing this game, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The 8 and a bit hours it took me to complete the game had me the whole time. The stuff that is really fucking goofy in the moment, I was thrilled by it. Like, just for how stupid it was. I was like, okay, fucking let's go. We're in a mech. You know, I thought it was, it seemed like they were having a lot of fun. It's just that their having fun doesn't stand up to much scrutiny after the fact. You know?
Yeah. I'm very much, I'm kind of in the same area for scoring. I'd probably say like, I'd give it a 7.5 just because replay value that I've had with this game has been insane. Like I'm still enjoying the multiple runs. Like this has been great. It has little things that I could poke at, but it's in no way. I guess I'm just too big of a 4 fan. Like 4 is too high of a bar for me. It's going to be hard for a game to get to that level. But like 2 has been the 2 Remake has been the closest. But one thing I didn't see, and this was the other thing I was going to bring up, the promo poster for Village is
half of Chris's face is a wolf.
Chris and Wolf. But I now have all the like 3D models from the bonus stuff from spending the points. And I've scrolled through each of the different kind of Lycans and the big wolf as well. None of them look like that wolf. Is Chris Redfield a werewolf?
Do you know what that wolf looks like? It looks like the symbol of the Hound Wolf Squad.
Yeah.
So
they're all werewolves.
Fuck yeah, dog soldiers.
Fuck it. Hound Wolf Squad sounds like an idea that sounded really cool in Japanese that translated really bad.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't.
I'll pay that.
It doesn't like just roll off your tongue. It's a bit. No. It's a bit clunky. Like even if like they flipped it and it was like Wolfhound Squad, that's like a bit easier. I think
still sounds like it still sounds like something you name your friends in fucking primary school. You know.
Oh, I just looked. The Japanese translation is actually Doggy Squad.
I
thought that wasn't
Squad.
Doki Doki Literature Squad.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for indulging. It's not every day that a new Resident Evil comes out that we get to just vomit Resident Evil lore.
Yeah, absolutely.